Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to what episode are we on? 15?
16 or 17.
17, 18. I don't know. But yeah, inshallah, just me and Kaim here today, and we've got our colleagues in the background there. So just changing it up a bit today. And thank you for following, and keep following, man. We need more.
Yeah,
engagement.
I think the view count has gone down a little bit. So come on, guys.
Yeah, let's get back
Pick
on
it up a little bit, guys. We're trying our best here for
View
you.
counts are down, people. Man down.
Man down.
Man down.
We are going to be more, I don't know, more.
More organized, maybe, and on
Yeah.
time. Bukhari, what do you think?
Yeah,
Football was on, man. Football.
Yeah.
football.
I had to support my Ivory Coast brothers.
There is that.
Is that who you want for the...
Well,
Is that your
for-
sweet
against
stick?
Norway, I wanted Ivory
okay.
Coast to win.
No way. Did they? Oh, Norway got through, though.
No,
didn't
you're
they?
2-1, yeah.
That's the end of that then. See you later.
Haaland, innit? What are you going to do?
Yeah, Haaland. One-man team.
We saw
Right.
that Morocco did well. The Morocco,
Morocco,
thing
yeah.
Morocco
Penalties.
yeah, is
Yeah.
really good.
Who did they knock
Really
out?
good. Holland.
Holland. Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
man.
Yeah.
pretty
Okay,
good.
okay,
Pretty
okay.
good. What's been your favorite game?
My favorite game. I haven't really caught much. The times are a bit weird, aren't they?
Yeah,
That
I'm struggling.
Holland Morocco game was like 2 in the morning or something.
Was it? Okay.
Yeah, it was a good match. But obviously, no one's going to watch that.
Yeah, I
not
just
that time.
watched the highlights.
I've
before
been
I
watching
came.
some of the highlights. Yeah.
Yeah, it went to penalties, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And then somebody else went to Germany's out. They went to
Germany.
penalties.
Yeah,
Oh, that was a good game.
He got knocked out by Paraguay or something.
Paraguay, yeah.
Wow, a little minnow.
Yeah, and then somebody put on TikTok, see you later, hypocrites, for Germany.
Well,
'cause
yeah,
they
I saw a
did
lot of
that
them.
pause, isn't it?
Yeah. What was
That's
that
when
about?
there was Qatar. There was Qatar and there was all the human rights abuse and things like that.
Of
So
course.
And the hypocrites because what's the
because obviously USA with all
Yeah,
their
all their
antics
politics
at the moment. Yeah.
No, but they're clean, aren't they? USA are the least. Anyway, we'll move on.
So anyway, go on. Who do you want to win the World Cup?
I've got Spain and France, one of the two, I think.
That you think will win,
Yeah,
you want
yeah.
to win.
I'd want England to win
Are you sure?
because I am British. I'm not English. I am British. But
So, you think France.
any of the home nations, if Scotland went through, I would have supported them as well, part and part. Although I've never been to Scotland in my life, but they're part of Britain,
It's alright, you're not missing out.
part of me.
I'm gonna go with Brazil. I've always liked Brazil, the way they play and all of that. But I always like to have an underdog there as well that I like to support, and that's Morocco.
Yeah.
Morocco,
Yeah.
yeah.
My underdog team was Japan when they've finished.
They're gone.
They got knocked out by Brazil.
South Korea, they got a lot of hate when they arrived back in their terminal.
Did they?
Yeah,
Wow.
they got really like shouted at, sworn at, everything.
Oh, but we forgot our Bangladesh heritage. So I should be supporting either Brazil or Argentina. Yeah, so our roots are somewhere.
Then Yogi's got
I've
Yogi's
got
got
it.
I've got
You've
it.
got
bro.
it. You've got the
tradition.
Just be
Brazilian.
the top.
I'll have to balance it by saying Argentina then, just for the
My
podcast.
freedom, alright, my freedom.
Just for select, yeah. I want to say Argentina.
My freedom.
What you say, Bakari?
What about you, Bukhari? Yeah.
Definitely, I'm supporting Morocco. I want Morocco to do well because one, Muslim country, number two, African country.
Yeah.
I want the African countries to do well. Obviously, I want England.
Because
to
they're
do-
African in you, yeah.
Yeah, of course.
That genealogy.
Man, that's strong,
Africa.
that's strong African roots.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Salik, what about you?
If I be honest with you, I have been watching the football, but I've not been supporting anybody. But if I really go back and think about who I used to support when I was a bit younger, especially when it came to World Cup football, I always used to support the Netherlands.
Ooh.
Netherlands, in their team, they had people like Patrick Kluivert,
Yes,
Dennis
legend.
Bergkamp, Overmars,
Pierre von Haldok.
Ruud Gullit.
and then
Or Gullit.
Seedorf. All of those players, they were like legends, man. They were like on another
Seedorf,
level.
Edgar Davids.
That's it, yeah.
Legends, man.
So
Bergkamp.
when you had
Bergkamp,
those
yeah.
guys on the pitch, you always knew that there was going to be some magic come. But they never even, I mean, they got to the World Cup, but they never even got into like quarters or semis or even into the finals. So they kind of remind me of a little bit of Arsenal. They've got potential, but they never did it.
Yeah.
So go on anyway. Back to the question: Who do you want to win this World Cup?
This one, obviously, yeah. I mean,
Netherlands are out, by the way. So
yeah,
that's-
I think a lot of the times we say that we don't support England, but I think somewhere deep down inside we always do.
We can't help it.
you know what? I will admit that. As
We all
well.
support
Yeah,
England,
we
of
always
course,
do
of
that.
course we do.
But I think right now I'd love to see one of the weaker teams kind of progress forward and start playing in semi-finals. Yeah, we got your Brazils and your Argentina, but Morocco's a decent team. They're playing good football.
Very good, very good.
And they're entertaining the audiences. So, yeah, maybe something like that as well.
Yeah, so we'll see.
Is there a team that's kind of really,
You don't want them to.
that you really
USA,
want to
obviously.
Yeah,
them out?
USA.
USA.
I'd want Canada to progress. Are they still in though? Have they got
They
knocked
are.
out?
Yeah,
They won again.
Yeah, they wouldn't. Yeah.
No, but we're saying who you're
You sh-
against.
Against, yeah.
Against.
It
I'm
has
against
to.
USA.
Everybody's
Yeah,
against USA.
I'll get that.
It's terrible, man. With their really crappy ad breaks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no,
Stupid,
I
man.
can't stand that. Them
Yeah.
water breaks when it's raining and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, they've put it in as ad breaks.
Ad breaks.
Man.
They call it
ad breaks.
hydration breaks.
I
Don't they?
know.
That's ridiculous. They're ruining the game. And to be honest with you, I've kind of been disenfranchised by football. When the Champions League was only broadcast on BT Sports and not on ITV, that was the straw that brought the camel
That's
back.
like
Well,
No, that was like last year. This year, wasn't it?
Wasn't it a couple of weeks ago? Lads, where our former now Prime Minister reached out to, who was it? Was it TN Sports or something? TNT Sports or
Yeah,
something to
TNT,
say either make it cheaper or allow people to watch the Champions League final, because I think he's an Arsenal supporter himself as well, isn't he?
Yeah.
And there's no need for it. You're having to pay to watch a final. I think that's just
The
cruel.
Champions League final,
Yeah,
yeah. That's a bit thingy.
It's just gone commercial to another level. So
I know, but that's football though, now, isn't it?
I know, yeah. So that's why I just
Yeah,
don't agree with it. I don't. I was actually speaking to a professional footballer about this
Is it?
like last week.
So you're dropping it?
Who's
No, I
this
won't drop any
professional?
names.
Come on, man.
I
you gotta
can't drop
name-
any names, but
He's
yeah,
not gonna be watching this. I
He
don't
probably
think.
will be
Yeah,
watching
okay.
because I've tried to. He's one of our
All right,
subscribers.
fair enough.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, and he agrees with me wholeheartedly.
Yeah, but
He plays in the lower leagues and he gets paid ridiculous amounts of money.
Yeah, but the thing is, the footballers, like the individual footballers, they benefit in one way because they get really good wages, isn't it? But on the other way, like they're made to play 60, 70 games, man. You see, I remember years ago, I think there was like Pires or one of the Arsenal players, might be Fabregas actually. They took a photo of their feet after a football match, just like after a normal football match. He wasn't injured or anything, just a normal football match. And like his feet were swollen and red, like something like proper mangled.
But at the end of the day, if you got a nurse that's doing a 12-hour shift and you got a doctor that's doing a full day of work and getting paid what 1/10 of what they're getting paid.
Yeah, no, of course.
We can't. It's not comparable, is
Yeah,
it?
no,
Regardless
not
of what their hardships are. I know it's hardship,
Yeah.
but nothing warrants what they get
You
paid.
know, I agree.
No, I guess maybe it's the side that we don't really see.
Yeah.
What you mentioned about the feet.
Yeah,
you know.
they I'm saying they get pushed into as the footballers got more commercialized, they're playing more and more matches into each
Again, I'll give you
season.
another example. Like a few years ago, there's a manager from Burnley Football Club, a Scottish one. I won't name any names or anything like that.
Scottish manager for Burnley.
Yeah.
Prince and his
So-
Prince has got this vibe going today. I won't name any names.
Yeah,
I know.
I won't
It's
name
not
them.
about man.
But-
It's
Guys,
naming.
dropping names,
But
It's not like
I'll give you an example. He got paid £8,000 for one punditry for Sky Sports, and that was what 5 years ago. Not even probably 10 years ago.
Well, actually, if you go back here, if you remember people like Alan Hansen, and then you got people like Gary Lineker who does it now. There was a time when the BBC, obviously they're on BBC's payroll. I think at one point, Gary Lineker, he used to get 100 grand for doing Match of the Day.
Yeah.
So if he's doing that every Saturday and then every Sunday, getting 200 grand a week,
No, it wasn't a week, Sal.
yeah, Match of the Day was a week.
No, it wasn't 100 grand a week, man.
It was 100 grand a show.
Was it?
Yeah.
I thought his contract was like 3 million a year or something.
Yeah, probably with all the other extra stuff and whatnot. But I'm saying to do Match of the Day, which was for a 50-minute program, he used to get 100 grand.
There
But
was
if you add 100 grand times 52, it's a lot of money, isn't
a
it?
lot of money. It's crazy money.
Yeah.
There was that player in Arsenal actually that his salary got leaked. I can't remember what player, midfielder.
Oh, yeah. I remember.
they
They
were
paid a
showing
lot of
this-
tax, man. That's what I noticed.
there is that.
They took the
But I
tax.
don't think you can hide when you're that public. Well,
when you're
some people do.
Yeah, if you're salaried, you can't hide it, can you?
Yeah, that's if you pay away.
Unless you play for Man City.
I think somebody sent it on the group the other day. A Bangladeshi player played for Burnley.
Yeah.
1980 something.
I saw that.
Yeah, I
Did
posted
you
that.
send it,
Yeah,
Saleh?
I posted that. He was the first. Actually, yeah,
Tell us
guys,
about him, Sam.
go and check this out. I don't know who posted it. Yogi, did I send it to you?
Yeah, I
sent
think
it
you
to
sent it me, and then I saw it everywhere. Everybody was posting.
Okay,
it.
so
Oh, wow.
the first Asian footballer. Actually, I'm going to go and load the post up now while I'm saying
Yeah.
this. Let me just go and quickly find
But to
it.
be honest,
He
it's
lives-
not surprising that it's Bangladeshi, because obviously the Bengalis are big in football, isn't it?
Yeah, so basically it says here, let me just load it up. First Bangladeshi footballer to play for an English club. Jamalur Rahman was born in Bangladesh on the 1st of October 1973. He moved to the UK in the 80s with his family. He moved to, Banstead, on the outskirts of London. In the summer of 1990, he joined Burnley on a youth training scheme, YTS. This scheme was quite common throughout the country, with many employees using the government-funded scheme to boost their workforce. Anyway, it's saying here, the signing of Jamalur attracted a lot of media attention at that time. He featured in the BBC Two documentary called On the Line, and this was back in 1991. He was the first Asian player to be signed as an apprentice for a professional club in England.
Yeah, that's it.
Anyway, he was, he's saying things about his 5'4". He was small in stature, versatile player. During his career at Turf Moor, he played on the reserves team at the Pontins League. So this must be donkeys ago. Yeah, he came on as a substitute against Bolton Wanderers and scored the winner for the Clarets. Anyway, later on it says, unfortunately, he was released in the summer of 93 and signed for local non-league club Accrington Stanley. So from Burnley went to Accrington Stanley. He mainly featured in Accrington Stanley's reserve team until he moved back to Banstead in the mid-90s. According to reliable information, he continued to play in the amateur leagues in London region and only retired from playing football a few seasons back. So, yeah, Bangladeshi lad, Jamalur Rahman. Let me just show you guys a picture of him. So this is him. Quite cool. You can definitely tell he's a Bangladeshi by looking at him.
You know what? Funny enough, he's got your siblings, like your brothers, kind of similar looks. Have a look at him. Do you not
What are you
think?
talking about, lad?
Sorry.
Is it really
I don't know what is.
Well, similar looks to his older brother.
No, I wouldn't
Yeah,
say so.
and then
Maybe
look-
the hairstyle.
Yeah, so I mean, if you think about it, football and stuff like that, there's a big, what do you call it? What's his name again? Hamza Chowdhury, I think he plays for Leicester.
Yeah, I was just gonna say.
He's got a really big following over in Bangladesh right now because he plays for the Bangladesh national team as well. So many people going into football, going to the matches, boys, girls, women, men, children, everybody's really getting behind him. And I think he has put football to the forefront. But then there's other news media as well, if you guys are watching. In Bangladesh, you've got this really big following for Brazil and Germany, Brazil and Argentina. Everybody knows that. If you go and watch some of the footage of these parks where people are going to watch the game together with, whether it's a Brazil game or an Argentina game, you literally would think that you're probably in Brazil or Argentina looking at the number of supporters, where people sometimes paint the entire village either blue and white or yellow and green. And it's even got to the point on a ridiculous level where there has been huge fights that have taken between different villages and families over football when it comes to Brazil and Argentina. And it's all to do with Pele and Maradona.
But on a positive note, now obviously because of social media, a lot of the Argentinians in Argentina and a lot of the Brazilians, they've noted that they've recognized the love Bangladeshis have for their two countries. So they're really kind of bigging that up.
Argentina's biggest fan base outside of Argentina is Bangladesh.
I'm pretty sure, Salik, it's more than Argentina itself. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it probably would be.
Yeah.
Let's
Like-
go around the ring.
You
then.
know, I'm generally.
Pele or Maradona?
Pele.
I say Maradona.
Pele, I'll tell you why. He was in Bangla Book 1 or 2,
Oh,
whatever.
yeah.
If he made it to Bangla Book 1 or 2 or whatever it was,
Dithiobag.
come on, bro.
He's
That book was called Dithiobag.
Oh, yeah, so number 2.
Prothom bag, Dithiobag, bag, Trithiobag bag. You know what I mean?
Well,
So
Maradona was just cool though, wasn't it? I know
We
it
didn't
was.
watch Pele play.
No.
I watched Maradona.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That
that's
was
true.
mental, man.
He was good.
It was
don't get me wrong.
unbelievable. The tricks that he had up his sleeve was crazy.
And he played with a huge amount of coke.
What about you,
There is that.
what about you, Salik?
who's that?
Pele or Maradona?
Yeah, no, I think I'm more of a Maradona
Yeah.
supporter. Me.
He's just got a vibe, hasn't he? Can I just say as well, emerging talents, yeah? There's a couple of players coming through the ranks. Young players like Farhan Ali Waheed.
He's a Bangladeshi.
Yeah,
heritage,
Bangladeshi.
yeah?
He's playing in the Fulham under 18s. So that's one to look out for. And Yusuf Ahmed is in the Birmingham City
He
team.
said it right, with the English accent. Ahmed.
Yusuf,
There's a Bengali lad. A few years ago, when I say a few, probably 5 years ago now, there's a Bengali lad that had a training contract with Burnley.
Is it?
okay.
Yeah, from
Not sure
Stonewall.
about that.
I forgot his name. That was really bad.
Very
man.
bad, yeah.
Yeah, Burnley lad. Yeah.
Burnley
out, see if
lad
you can
in
find
Burnley
it.
Football Club. Or
Didn't Usta Salik get some sort of a football
Yeah,
contract
there was
back
a
in the days?
few lads when we were younger that were like phenomenal at playing football, kind of breaking records. But again, look, going back, they were good at athletics, they were good at football. There was nobody from the community that were pushing it forward and, mentoring those young people, even giving them the support and whatnot. But yeah, there was some phenomenal talent even within our community. And I think, that, we're talking from a very small town, right? But can you imagine going into places like Manchester, Leeds, Liverpool, London, Birmingham, and looking into the South Asian community and then looking further within the Bangladeshi community? There must be some pure talent there, especially when it comes to games like badminton and other sports that we see people play on a regular basis over in Bangladesh.
Why do you think, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, I'd like to hear your thoughts on this, but why isn't there more Asian or Muslim or Bengali even players out there in the UK? Why is it so small?
I'll give my bit on it. I think, just like I've worked in the arts my whole life, yeah, and nobody saw it as a real career opportunity or somewhere where you can go to earn money. So the stereotypical view of what's he doing on a stage, playing music or performing or acting, when's he going to get a real job? And I think sports was one of those things where, and I think it comes from there, if I'll be honest with you.
Well, Nazi, you were going to say something?
no, I'm just messaging somebody. Let's see if he comes on the show.
Oh yeah, so that goes back to someone else as well. Scunthorpe United, I think I shared this with you guys.
Yeah,
so
one of the
I don't know, I
owners,
think it's co-owner or something like that. So
co-owner.
I did kind of reach out to him. He did say he did reply, but yeah, let's see if it works. Let's see if we can bring him down.
So as well as that, then, so we talked about football and the diversification, and we're not entering that field, yeah.
Yeah.
So that links into other points of discussion. We've had viewers.
We had a viewer contact me and say, look, he loves the podcast. He's watched every episode, and then he mentioned that, look.
Is it
Well,
family member?
No, not a family member. Well, he might as well be as well. We all Bengali, so somehow we're related.
We are related.
We'll find a way.
Go on.
So he's
What did he
mentioning
say?
about why the British Bangladeshis, why do we don't explore other areas
and diversify in
yeah.
working areas. and
even
professions.
farming, for example, because other Asian
We did farming,
communities.
doing it, man.
No, I mean in UK.
in the UK, yeah.
Because it's only like push forward to doctor, push forward to dentist, push forward to teachers and things like this. So he's mentioning.
Go on. What do you think? Like, what areas like that we've not done?
Look, even other communities, South Asian
Yeah.
communities, they've reached out into care homes. They've got their own care homes. For example, they're doing that. Then there's
Care homes, like building
yeah,
like
they've got their
Bengali
own.
computer,
Huh?
care home, like building a Bengali care home for.
Not even a
No,
Bengali,
not just for Bengali.
just
They
for everyone.
own it and they run it. Yeah, manage it.
The care home business.
Yeah, the business.
Yeah.
Look, even so much so, he was saying, look, our Bengalis, I don't know if we know British Bangladeshis, we know the fact that you don't have to be a dentist to open a dental business.
Practice, yeah.
So people like maybe that knowledge isn't there, and why isn't it there? Why aren't people pursuing other trades other than
Yeah,
takeaways and restaurants?
because whenever we look for work to do around the house, like builders or anything, carpentry, anything like that, we very rarely see anybody of Bengali background in that trade. There's a few, but
Yeah.
not as prolific and as readily available as everybody else. Like, if we compare ourselves to like the Pakistani community, there's like I always see regularly, like there's people even in property, in the rental
Gyms.
market, gyms, yeah,
Like
there's-
all
we've got
sorts.
one in
It's very
Bradfield.
diverse there.
So why is it that they have like the shawash, as we call it in Bengali too?
Do you know, I think, yeah, guys, honestly, Hazada, I think they get inspired when they go into their communities in other towns and cities. If you go into places like Manchester, London, Bengali people are getting into things like construction and printing and so many other things as well. Because we're here in Burnley, how many times do we really go out to other towns and cities where there are Bengali people to see what they're actually doing? I think the Pakistani community, because they are a generation ahead of us, they're young people that live in these smaller towns, do get out to other cities and stuff like that. And then from there, they get inspired to think, you know what, let me bring this back to Burnley or Nelson or Brighfield or Colne or Bury or Rottenstall, whatever it is. And they say, let's give it a shot.
So you think, Salik, it's a phenomenon that's more local to Burnley as opposed to...
Yeah, I think so. I think
I would, yeah.
because look, Yoga, you and me, we've traveled to places like London together. We've been sitting with other people that do so many different things, and we're like, whoa, if we were in London, maybe we would have had the opportunity to kind of do these kind of things as well.
So why do you think we
Yeah,
not
but
we haven't got the opportunity yet?
I get what you're saying, and I have witnessed that as well. Yes, people even, I'd say, even as far as Oldham, they are making different moves in terms of like businesses and things like that. What I will say is it's less.
Yeah,
It's not as
common as what?
common.
Yeah, but I agree with Salik. I think part of it is that, it's a very local thing in the sense that our community in Burnley, the Bengali community in particular in Burnley, it's not huge, is it? And the kinds of things that we have expertise in is very specialized, isn't it? So, opening takeaways and restaurants and things like that, we're very good at that. We've got expertise.
I think as well, books, we've become quite comfortable, man. We've become really comfortable. What I mean by that is, look, we're from Burnley, ain't it? A lot of the times we just spend our time in Burnley. Within our 4 streets, 5 streets, or one area, we do all of that kind of stuff. And then it's like, so what is it that we're going to see apart from what we see every single day? There's nothing new that's coming here. There's nobody coming from outside. But then if you look at it, I think that's what we need to do. We need to get our young people out and about. I'll give you an example. This weekend, I went to a expo.
Oh yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, which took place in Manchester at the Old Trafford football ground, which is a wonderful location. Honestly, there was so many different Bengali young people that was there trying different and new businesses. Like I was there with my tea brand, and it went really well. It was received really well. But the thing is, I took my son and I took my nephew with me as well. I think for them it's the best work experience they're ever going to get. They're meeting people that they've never met before, businesses, public, other vendors, other suppliers, other competitors, and they had to kind of battle through the 2 days, making the sales, telling people about the product. My nephew came back to say, I've never done anything like that before, and I don't know when I'd get the opportunity to do something like that before. Yoga, you were there.
I was there, yeah. It was good. I actually met, I didn't have much time, so within the 2-3 hours that I was there, I met one old uncle and his wife as well. They're from Ashton, I won't say obviously. They had 2 separate businesses. So at the expo, they were actually selling clothes. So they got their own clothing company or shop, if you like. And secondly, one thing that I've always thought, why are we not doing, like spice blends, like how you had Raja and all that, that, the other. He's got his own. And even, pastes, like curry sauces and stuff like that in a packet, plastic packet. So he's given me some of them. I think I left them with you guys because I was rushing out, but it was good to see that.
Yeah.
And you saying that, Yoga, check this out. We've been cooking curries our entire life. When have we ever put a curry in a bloody jar and said, right here,
That's it.
You got, what is it? Is it,
Pataks and Rajas
and all of them, they're doing it. And we've got all of these different curries, versatile, new flavors, and then we couldn't even put it in a bottle or a jar, put a label on it, and then try and take it mainstream.
Yeah, this is it. And so when I saw that uncle, I even took a photo with him because I was proud of him. I thought, no, this guy received some recognition.
But why is that? Do you not think we just don't have the entrepreneurship?
No, but look, I think, you know what it is? This is one thing I've learned by doing little bits of business, yeah? I think, that scaling, we really don't get it. We just think open a small takeaway and just sit there for 35 years.
Yeah, this is it.
That's
no
it.
franchising, nothing like that.
Yeah, so we open these places up and then we think, okay, I've got a takeaway now. Let me just sit with that for 30 years, which is fine. But there's no growth in that. Not for the community, not for anybody else. If you look at now, Indian restaurants that are opening up by, say, for example, Indian people or Pakistani people, within 3 years, they've got franchises.
Yeah.
Chai Wala's just selling tea and paratha and egg. And then I'm sure they've got over 100 stores nationwide.
Yeah, look at Euro garages as well.
Yeah,
Like,
Euro-
they've started off as
So
one
I think
petrol
what
station.
what we need to do is we need to find people and set up these sessions or master classes or seminars where business people will come to the young people and say, guys, this is how you scale up. This is what you do. Let me just give you another quick example. There was a friend of mine I used to work with. He's from the Blackburn area. And on a Thursday night, after Maghrib namaz in Salah in the masjid, he was like, yo, are we going to get somewhere to eat? And then all of a sudden he goes, no, tonight we can't. I said, why not? He goes, oh, I've got something going on in the masjid. So I said, okay, I'll come with you. He goes, no, you can't come. I said, why can I not come? He goes, just because you can't come. What I later found out from himself was that every Thursday night, they used to have leading professionals from within the community deliver mentoring sessions to their community in the masjid every Thursday night. Doctors used to come telling young people how to get into medicine. Pharmacists used to come, or how do you go about setting up a pharmacy? People that had clothing shops, food. That's why when you look at the Gujarati community, why have they, when you're talking about diversifying into so many different businesses, is because they've got the older generation coming in and teaching them the way.
Mentoring.
And then the young people are bringing their own creativity, whatever it is, but they understand the model, they understand the concept, they understand how they need to make business work, and they just go ahead and do it. Bengali people are not doing that. We need to start doing that more and more and more and more.
I'm going to make a prediction though. Even though at the moment, currently, I'm saying that our Bengalis, with regards to businesses, we might be on the lower end. But I think by the next generation, I think we'll be really up there.
Yeah.
Because I just want to take you back to the education thing as well. Just released recently the inquiry. I don't know if you guys saw it about
the statistics.
the government is failing the English children. So
Let's
in
go
that
through the
statistics,
statistics,
the
yeah.
Chinese were first.
I'll get
I'm
it.
not talking about UK. Yeah, just bring it up. And the Bangladeshis were second. British Bangladeshis.
What, in the South Asian community, or just generally
Just
across?
generally, yes.
Just
Across
generally.
all ethnic minorities.
Yeah. So the Chinese, then British Bangladeshis, then it was the Indians, then it was the Pakistanis, I think, and then last, I think, for some reason, it was the English.
You sent
They
it
bring it up.
What report is this? Which one is that?
It was on BBC, I think.
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
the-
on
the
BBC.
recent one.
It was
Yeah.
on
Recent
BBC, but GB News has been pumping it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but GB News as well, actually.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
It was
Bangladesh.
So
GB
this is the
News.
one
It
that
was
came
a-
out last week.
I think so.
It
And
might
then
have been
today, I
last week,
just
but it's
saw
making headlines
another
this
thing.
week, yeah.
Where is it?
Just Google it.
Yeah, so that one was, who commissioned that? It was
The Perry Jackson Society.
no. It was the guy from Star Academies, Hamza
Okay.
Patel. Is it Hamza Patel? I think his
I'm
name
not
now.
sure. Go on, tell us about it.
Do you not know the Star Academies?
No, I
So
don't know this.
they've done really well. So it's a starter in Blackburn, Gujarati guy from Blackburn. I think I can't remember exactly what their start was, but
It was Tahidul Islam.
no. So that's
Yeah.
where they got the experience from.
That's
But
where they got the experience.
But
So
the
even-
Star Academies, I don't know what the exact starting point for that is.
Well, I think, look, if you go back and if you look at it, I think Tahidul Islam started off as a boys' school. Then they did a Tahidul Islam, a girls' school. Both of those, because they were doing so well, then they became Star Academy and then Star
But they're
Academy.
separate, isn't it? So I think that the Tawhidul schools are still separate. They're separate from the Star Academies.
Yeah, I
the
think
Star
that-
Academy is a separate thing. So they whatever they took their expertise in Tawhidul and they thought.
I think
we'll
Star
apply-
Academy is the trust, isn't it?
No, but Star Academies is secular, Sal. It's secular, isn't it?
Yeah, they all got to go secular if they want to go and get the funding.
Tawhidul isn't secular, though, is it?
No, I think they've just kept the name into it, but they are run by Star Academy.
But he was interim head of Ofsted for a bit, and then all the right wing kicked off about that as well.
Really?
But
Okay.
Oh, is it the guy with the turban? I think.
Yeah.
He was very big position. I
Yeah,
think the number one position.
I think currently,
Hamza Patel, I forget
Yeah, I think it is him. Yeah.
currently he's the head of Ofsted, isn't
Is
he?
he?
Yeah,
Yeah,
he is currently,
yeah.
I think this is last year, like late last year, kind of.
Yeah. So they commissioned that report.
We've got the percentages here.
On the white working class, and one of the reasons why they've commissioned that report is because obviously Star Academies that's their business, isn't it? They're into schools and they want to further themselves in
So
the
just
schools.
quickly, guys, what's he saying in the report then?
It's
Yeah.
saying GCSE English and Math results
This
based
is from the government website, by the
Key
way.
Stage 4 performance data, achieving grade 4 above. Chinese were 88.6%, Indians were 83.5%, Asian other, so that'd be a Japanese, all that kind of stuff, 77.1. Bangladeshi was 74.8.
Oh, that's not bad.
White British 64.9.
White Irish is
And
there.
white Irish is 71.
All
but
right,
white
okay.
British
Yeah, all right.
is 64.9. So we're 10% ahead of our white people counterpart. And that's
So,
in English and maths.
Mm.
So adopting.
but then once the education is over, it's getting the job and the career, isn't it?
Well,
That's the kind of
there's-
inequalities as well there.
the inequality there is
Yeah.
different, yeah. So regardless of what your gradings are, there's always bias. I'll call it bias. But yeah, as far as academia is concerned, we what, fourth? Well, third. Really.
So that report is about the white working class, isn't it? It's not about minorities. It's about
No, it is about minorities. It's
No, this is just a general.
no. I meant the report that came out last week or whenever it was, a few days ago.
Or the one on GB News and all of that.
I didn't watch it on GB News. I saw it,
BBC.
but whatever it was, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah. And the discussion is about why is it that the white working class
are being left behind.
are being left behind. And
Yeah.
according to that, it's not just the white working class, is it? The Bangladeshis and the Indians and the Chinese and the Asian others are doing a lot better than the white British in general.
So why do we think?
Why do you think that is, Bakari? That the white people are falling behind in terms of education?
What does the report say?
It doesn't really specify in
Okay.
terms
Just
of
giving
giving
sta-
you,
data
it's just giving you
percentages.
statistics.
I read the report though. In
Go
the
on, then.
report, it's one of the things that it identifies is there's a culture within white working class and communities. And when they say white working class, actually they're talking about free school meals, so FSM. That's what
Oh, yeah.
they're talking about working
There
class.
is a lot about that.
So that's really low, isn't it? It's not just working class; it's people who are out of work generally, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you want to qualify for an FSM. So one of the things that they identified is that there is no culture of valuing education as a form of bettering themselves, isn't it? Like for us Asians, shall we say, generally, not for everybody, but let's just say about 80% of the Asians, Bengalis, Indians, whatever.
Yeah.
No, I'm not talking like for you, man,
So just translate that into English. So, for you, man, go on then. What is that?
No, that's
Read and become human.
yeah, like the education elevates you, isn't it? If you don't have education, then you're like
They're not wrong with that.
Yeah, exactly. And
So carry on anyway, sorry.
We believe there, isn't it, that if you, by educating yourself, you become a respectable person, isn't it? You're not like a zungli manusha. Yeah, you want to say, isn't it?
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So regardless of money and all of those other things, education is really important for you to become a proper human being, isn't it? Right. So that's our culture, isn't it? Right. And the Chinese and the Indians and whatever, I'm sure they've all got slightly different cultures that emphasize education. But one of the things that that report identifies is that amongst the FSN, or working class and white working class communities, that culture doesn't really exist.
I'll give you some good statistics then, based on that report. Yeah?
Go on.
This has been published on the BBC as well. So it says here 48% of white working class children reach a good level of development by the age 5, compared to 75% of white British children who are not on free school meals. Yeah, 36% of white working class pupils achieve a grade 4 or above in English and maths, compared to 72% of all pupils not on free school meals. Then it says here, look, this is a shocking one. 13% of school sessions are missed by white working class pupils, compared to 7% from all pupils. Then it says 52% of white working class people told the inquiry they were likely to go to university, compared to 82% of their peers.
So here, I think one thing that number makes clear, and I think this is 100%, you have to be really clear on this, right? That if you compare, forget white working class, let's talk about Bengalis, right? If you compare Bengalis versus Bengali FSM, right? So comparing Bengalis who are not FSM, so their parents have got jobs, they're doing well or whatever, isn't it? They're middle class or whatever it is, right? If you compare them to working class Bengali kids or Bengali kids who are FSM, right? There's a big difference. So the Bengali kids whose parents are well off, they do a lot better than Bengali kids whose parents aren't well off, right?
Yeah.
And that's not just Bengalis, that's everywhere.
That's a universal thing.
Universal thing, right? So whenever you compare the people who are well off versus the people who aren't well off, the ones who are well off do a lot better, right? So this thing about here where they're focusing on the numbers for white working class, what they're talking about is white people who are not very well off. So FSM kids, isn't it?
And are they comparing that against Asians that are not well off?
And this is the misleading thing that they'll want you to like, the little cheeky misleading thing. They'll show the really bad numbers that these guys are doing, right? And they'll compare it to all Indians or all Chinese or all Bangladeshis.
I get you.
That's not really a fair comparison.
Okay, so it's propaganda.
So it's not even propaganda, but I'm just saying the big difference isn't
They kind of juice in the orange a bit too much.
The big difference isn't that they're white. The big difference is that they're working class. They're poor. Because everywhere poor people get a really bad deal, right? For whatever reason, whether or not it's culture, whether or not it's the environment that they find themselves in, whether or not it's the school that they find themselves in. Because in that report, another thing that they identified is that in order to do well, you need to have support from your family. So your parents need to be able to give you a stable home environment, need to give you the space to do your homework, need to encourage you and nurture you and all of those things, right? That's a lot harder if you've got a parent that's absent, if you're in a single parent home, or if your parents have got substance abuse or alcohol abuse or criminalities in the family, or
even the size of your house, or
if your house is overcrowded,
or
if your parents are working all the time, they're not there, they can't afford to give you tuition or outside. We know there are a number of reasons why that support that is needed happens more often with wealthy families, and it's much harder for working class families.
It's simple as they can afford it and they can't.
This is actually a very good. This is actually, now that you've got me started on this one, this is actually
go for it, man.
Because of where we're in. We in the BWA office, isn't it, right? And when we were all growing up, I think probably it's fair for all four of us. Our parents wouldn't be middle class. Our parents were and would fall into that.
We were free school meals.
Yeah, I got free school meals, and they were delicious. By the way, just want to point out.
One of the best things about education.
we fell into the FSM. Like that report. I'm doing that difference, isn't it? Right. But one of the things that helped us was that we had the BWA office where you could come and do your homework. So if like a lot of us lived in overcrowded homes, two down, like two down. A lot of these
bunk beds and the whole thing.
There's 2 bedrooms.
I remember that.
And
staying over you are.
And 2 reception rooms. Literally, that's all there is. And there's 6 people, 8 people living in that house. So where are you going to get the space to do your homework? Well, so we had the homework center, the homework club here, and we came here and we did that. And what you're seeing with from 2010 when they had austerity, like these spaces started being defunded. It's more rare for these things to exist.
Even our youth center is gone now.
So if you want to support these, support working class people or FSM people, then you need to put some money in, don't you?
Here's an interesting thing. Salik kind of usually mentions, like funding, for like works projects like this. Funding's kind of gone full circle, as he says. So it started off with children and youth and all of that, youth programs. Like we had Splash, like going to summer holiday time.
We went paintballing
swimming and all of that, go-karting, all sorts. And then now it's kind of gone towards more mental health and well-being for adults since COVID and all of that. But I think it's going to come back to you, Salik.
Yeah, I think it is. It's going to come back, but very differently. I think, funding is definitely a big issue. Austerity is kind of really taking the bottom out of a lot of community work that we used to do back in the days. But there's pros and cons to that, innit? You give a lot of funding and people get spoiled, and you take away the funding and then people struggle and there's no middle ground in it. And I think this is where a lot of, even me and the projects that I work on, the organizations that I work for, they kind of end up struggling because a lot of the work that we're doing is kind of goodwill work, isn't it? It's good, it's good for the community. But when they want to make cutbacks, is it something that's necessary? They always turn around and say no. Like arts, culture, community activities, they're the ones that get hit first when it comes to making a saving.
So is it feast or famine? Was it a point where it was everywhere, everything was funded, money was available readily, and now it's gone famine now?
It's comparative, isn't it? In the sense that it felt like a feast compared to
how it is now. Yeah, because I remember Sadiq, Gone are them days. You call me up one weekend, or we're going paintballing with youth club. Are you free, Prince? Yeah, I'm free. We just jumped on the minibus and we went paintballing one day. I remember it vividly,
Even I
like,
remember those days. Yeah.
back in the day. But that doesn't happen anymore. You don't.
No, that can't happen anymore. Where they're going to get the funds to make that happen? You didn't just go paintballing. You got your breakfast. You got your lunch.
You got your lunch. I remember we went for a meal and everything.
Yeah. So they do. So that was actually called, I think it was called PAYP, which stood for Positive Activities for Young People.
Right. Okay.
But actually, it should have been called FAYP, like Free Activities for Young People, because that's literally what it was. It was, free activities for young people. But that was all about, okay, we need to show that we're engaging young people, we're engaging people in the community. And a lot of that funding did come into the poorer areas. Like right now, Burnley doesn't hit that. Well, I don't think it hits it that low. But if you come up into East Lancashire, child poverty, like I think Pendle is within the bottom 3% of the country when it comes to child poverty.
Wow. That is still quite high, sir.
Yeah, it is, but I don't think it. I think Pendle's kind of taken over that. But then you go into Pendle and there's areas like Barrowford and Barnoldswick and Eby and Fulrick, very affluent areas.
It's very true. It's very. But the thing is, like this. If you go back to this point, isn't it about? There's been this kind of ruckus, in the past few days about how the government is supposedly betraying white working class communities. I think, like, obviously it's not wrong. They're not wrong in the sense that white working class people have been let down, because obviously this is what we're seeing, isn't it? Where you had facilities for working class people that was funded through government grants, specific government schemes like Sure Start or whatever it was, right? And those have gone, right? So there is a betrayal of white working class, but I think it's a betrayal of working class people full stop. It's not just white working class. And I think one of the things that I find really surprising is when the Labour government came into power, one of the things that you'd have expected them to do is do loads of funding into to reverse a lot of these austerity cuts. And this is one of the things that they haven't done. Like the Labour Party have been really cautious about spending any public money. And I think this is one of the reasons why people are really frustrated with Keir Starmer, because people voted for Keir Starmer not because they loved Keir Starmer. People voted for it because they had enough of austerity. They wanted a change in approach.
But it's got even worse though, I think, through Keir Starmer's reign that he's been in. It's been like the crisis has just got
cost
worse.
of living crisis and things like that.
Exactly.
Have exacerbated. But I'm just saying that this is one of the things into that. One of the reasons why you're getting this sort of backlash against Keir Starmer generally, and obviously there are other things that he's done in his government,
which it completely contradicts Labour's really ethos, doesn't it? So
exactly. So it is. I mean, like, you can understand. Like, I don't think that, when we say, oh, it's propaganda or whatever, GB News, whatever, like. One thing I would definitely agree is that if you said to the GB News guys, it will help the white working class people, right? But it means that you need to pay a penny extra on income tax. Yeah, tell you, they'll be the first ones to turn around and say no. But that's the only thing that I think that they're a bit hypocritical about, right? But generally they're right that the working class people, white, brown, whatever, working class people in this country, particularly in outside of London areas, they've been let down by the government.
I've been watching a lot of these videos on the social media as well.
GB News are worried about you, man.
Not just GB News. No, I do like to watch them, I'll be honest with you. Just so I know what's in their minds, so I can kind of combat it. But no, a lot of people commenting, they're saying, look, it's the parents' fault. It's the parents. And that's what I wrote as well. I thought, you know what?
No, I would say, like, in that report, if you read that report, you read the detail in that report, there's I think it's in Grimsby, one of the people that they interviewed, or they did research in Grimsby, and they were saying that they had a homework centre as well, right, for white working class people in Grimsby. And one of the things that their homework centre used to do was they'd pay for taxis for people to come to the homework centre. So imagine that, right? Not only do you have a centre where you can go off and do your homework and stuff, but they'll send a taxi to pick you up and drop you off, right?
Yeah, but this kind of stuff.
But I'm just finished. But even
you're doing a lot of talking books. So the reason why I'm saying that is, do you remember the youth zones? Do you remember when the youth centers shut down and they created these youth zones? Same thing. Did you know to get the young people to the youth zones, they even paid to go and pick up those children straight after school. So they went and picked them up. When you went into the youth zone, there was a full canteen there. So they were actually going from one school to another school. Parents used to pick those kids up at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, sometimes 9 o'clock. They're still in their school uniform.
How long ago was this? How many years?
This is not even a long ago. It's between 5 and 10 years ago when all those youth zones were set up. They got private businesses to invest millions and millions of pounds to say this is social responsibility. You guys pay for these centers. But then this is what used to happen. I was an artist that used to go there to provide activities for young people, to musical activities. So you start a session at, let's say, 5 o'clock. And you're going to finish about 7:30. If a parent came at 5:10 and they wanted to take the kid just used to walk out. So I'm like thinking, well, there's nothing structured here then.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you say it's a parent's fault, I understand what you mean by that. Because the parent's like, oh, I'm not going to go and pick them up at 7:30 because they're doing something productive with Sal. Is I need to go home now. I can't come back to pick the kids up. This was convenient for me. Now that I finish work, I'll go straight to the youth zone, pick my kid up, and just go home.
Yeah. So this is the experience that they had with this homework centre in Grimsby. Even though they pay for the taxi, the kids wouldn't turn up to it. And this is the reason why they say, look, one of the big things is culture, isn't it? Right? How is it that you can make people value education, right? And it's a very difficult thing to do. And you know, instead of like, you know, as Salik is saying, that instead of just putting money without a kind of strategy, and you focused on how do you change, like trying to change the culture, that give, you know, massive benefits.
I think Boxy was a quick, let's get numbers.
Yeah,
Let's
course,
show that
of
we're getting the numbers.
Yeah,
Anyway, what I was
stick
going to
boxing
say, Yogi, Prince, I know both of you, you've got a piece of paper in front of you because there was loads of things that came back from
so there's a few
some of
things.
our listeners, our watchers, and they wanted to kind of raise a few things. So I know both of you said you want to cover this section. Please go
So
for it.
there's before we move on, I wanted to go through the stats about deprivation in the UK. I think we're number 7 out of 10.
Number 7 being Burnley.
Burnley, So Jaywick Sands, Blackpool, Cliftonville West, Hull, and then Burnley. And Blackburn is underneath that, which I'm surprised with. So yeah, we are really struggling with.
Just so you know, guys, it's from the Sun newspaper as well.
There
so
is that. So
Well, you know, look, you know, if you go into most of these East Lancashire town, guys, I'm telling you, go to Burnley and you'll find there is a lot of deprivation, but there's loads of affluence as well. You know
This
what I
is
mean?
it.
And then you go into Pendle, the same thing. There's lots of and there's no middle ground. There's very poor.
Yeah. Well,
and then
the
there's-
wealth
and
divide
there's-
is massive,
yeah,
isn't it? You're right.
Absolutely, yeah.
Inequality. What else is on the list?
we've actually covered most of it. There is childhood trauma that somebody mentioned as well.
Childhood trauma.
Yeah.
In what
Tell us
sense?
about
Do you know
this.
what
You know
context
how
is
that affects people's education or even just how they behave in society and, you know, how their career prospects and things like that.
What is it like? Negative peer pressure and maybe the culture that they surround themselves in is not the most.
No, just like how they deal with it, because I don't think our community can or have kind of talked about it,
Yeah.
you know.
So
Going
is it-
back to
is it-
mental health and stuff.
Mental
like
health and things like that as well. I'm
So
guessing, yeah.
as in like childhood trauma, how you process it later on in life, or childhood trauma as
That as
children?
well as, you know, maybe they're trying to say like so how that might be affecting people going out and trying different new things.
So they
or
have,
even
they
in the
have a lack
education.
of self-confidence because
Yeah.
of that, and that deters them to do better for themselves. They don't
Yeah,
want to try.
that's what they were kind of, I think they were hinting
Into
at.
that. So basically, they're at a point where of hopelessness, where why should I bother studying?
Yeah.
I've hit
Yeah,
such
but
a low.
to me, I don't think it's that dramatic. I don't think it's dramatic as hopelessness.
Mm.
I think it's just that if enough people lack confidence to go out and try new things,
Yeah.
then you're not going to get, you're not going to get.
To be fair, I did see a lot of hopelessness. A lot of people were so defeatist in terms of why am I bothering with GCSEs. A lot of my peers, they just didn't even bother putting any effort into it because it's pretty much a self-fulfilling prophecy. They're already told themselves they're not going to do well. They're not going to go to college. They're not going to go to university. So why bother? I'll just peel onions for the rest of my life.
Yes.
With some of my friends, I think like those who had businesses from before, like obviously from their dads.
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever.
inherited
Yeah, so
businesses.
they kind of just some
They
of
fell
them
back into that
some
trap.
of them they said completely no, I don't need uni and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them they said, you know what, I'll go uni, but they ended up kind of doing that as well.
Yeah.
And then there was Me, I did go in uni, but then I left it. I thought, no, it's not for me. I did get out, and then I got married young as well. So
Yeah, no, Yogi, I agree with you. I think the dynamics is different. You know, if we look at our older brothers, very few of them got the chance to go to college and university, yeah? Because the need at that time was our parents were first generation Bangladeshi people that came here, and then you needed somebody really quickly to get into work because you needed funds.
yeah,
Then, if they set the foundation there, then the next generation after that got the chance to maybe go into college and university and all of that. But the foundational work from our fathers and our older brothers, there was no time really to invest in education. Because look, you finish work at, high school when you're 16. By the time you're graduating, you were what, 23, between 23 and 25 if everything worked out well. You know, those 10 years of you not bringing any finances into the house was really difficult for a household.
To be fair, Salih, it goes as far as I know people that they used to work and the salary used to go to their parents' accounts. So when it was the setup for the salary, it used to go, they didn't even see it. So they'd get an allowance from their own salary. Like the parents wouldn't even give them like 50% of what they earn. They'll be like, well, I'll give you 30%.
And now with us, like we're working in professional jobs and whatnot, we're not ever asking our children to contribute towards the electric bill or the gas bill or the food shopping. They're just doing their own thing. And then once they're ready to spread their wings and fly off, they just go.
See you later.
Okay, yeah. But that's a massive shift in the culture. Like before, it was almost a dictatorship from the older generation. You're gonna go out and work, and you're gonna.
Yeah, I think that's
think
a
it was
bit
needed,
extreme.
though.
I don't think it was dictatorship. I think Yogi, you're right. I think it's not that it was needed; it was essential to make sure.
No,
that the
I know
house
some.
was-
I know some circumstances it was a dictatorship where it was forcibly that the child didn't even have an option to have the salary in their account.
No, I don't mean that. You're right. They didn't have a choice to have the salary in their own account, but it went to the parents because they were the people who were running the household and making sure that everything got paid.
True. Yeah, the bills
So
are in there.
it wasn't a case of, I'm going to take your salary, son, and then I'm going to go and buy myself a nice store line
No,
and
no,
jacket.
obviously it wasn't that.
Do you know what I mean? Or I'm going to put some extra
They
skates
put
on.
them longi liktam.
Yeah, I don't buy any more.
You know what I mean?
I get
so it wasn't
that.
a case of that. Now you've got young people who will earn their own money and then buy whatever they want, knowing that, okay, yeah, my mum and dad are doing the grocery shopping with their money and the bills,
Check this out, yeah. I'll give you an example.
Go
Right,
on.
yeah. So the other day I saw Colgate, nice toothpaste in the bathroom, yeah. And then I went back, I went to brush my teeth, it was gone.
What?
And
Why?
then I just stumbled into my son's room and it was there.
Yeah.
And I said, why have you taken the toothpaste in your room? And he says, oh, Dad, I spent 10 quid on it. Toothpaste.
Wow.
Fight.
Bro, what about the hundreds and hundreds of pounds of shower gel that
That's why, look, Prince, don't take this the wrong way yet. Do you remember me and you having a conversation downstairs after we finished a particular recording? And I said, listen, be mindful as to what you selflessly
That's what
do
I
for-
said. I said, look, we've been spending X amount, so whatever's yours is out. You better put that toothpaste back in the bathroom. And you're sharing that. You have to. Tail between his legs. Tail between his legs.
What's so good about the toothpaste?
I
I
don't
really
know,
want to
it's
know
just a
about
Colgate.
this.
It's
What
like
they go gold inside.
I don't know.
No, Yoga. You know what it is? Look, I'll tell you. This is the
Especially
bit.
from taking it.
This is the bit where young people are learning for themselves that, okay, maybe I earned a little bit of money and I went and bought something for myself. So that's one way of looking at it, and there's nothing wrong with that. And then there's people like us who went and earned money and bought something for everybody. And that's also fine as well. It's two completely different minds. I think Gen Z, like I'll give you an example, and I can say this as well. If my daughter's watching, she's watching. So today when I picked her up from her work experience, went into the local Tesco there. I said, look, let me go and get a drink. Anyway, the drink that I was looking for, I couldn't find it. But at the corner of my eye, do you know in Tesco, those mini Tescos, you've got like that bakery section, haven't you?
Yeah, like
So you know those chocolate twist
Oh,
croissants?
yeah, it's delicious them.
Yeah, I love them. So anyway, I saw it and there was two there. So I thought I'll get one for me, I get one for my daughter. So anyway, I got one. And then I said to her, I said, here, have it. She goes, no, I don't want it. I said, why do you not want it? She goes, there's no reason why I don't want it. I just don't want it. I said, no, it's not a case that I'm not giving it to you because I think that you're hungry. I'm giving it to you just for the sake of just giving you something.
Yeah. Just
And when somebody just for the sake of whatever offers you something,
You take it.
you
My-
take
yeah,
it
yeah,
out
yeah.
of respect,
Yeah,
out
yeah,
of the fact that it's food, the fact that we're going to be
Say
sharing
thank you
something
as well.
together and
Yeah.
all of that. So and then I turned around and said, what's wrong with you young people these days?
We're
you get
giving
what I
it
mean?
away
I
to
bet
you.
that didn't go down well.
No, well, look,
that didn't go down well.
maybe it's not going to go down well, but she's still going to need a lift tomorrow in the morning, so it's going to have to go down well.
Yeah.
But going back to this one about childhood trauma, then, like obviously one thing we say that childhood trauma causes lack of confidence, yeah, and so people don't want to try new things or whatnot.
Yeah.
But what else about this childhood trauma? Like, what do you think we deal with traumatic incidents from our childhood very well? Do you think like there's a?
I think as a community, we're very bad at being direct
And open.
yeah, and we're very good at sweeping things under the carpet, like, or almost
Almost as if it never happened.
as
or,
denial, isn't it? It's
So
a
we
lot
repress things, isn't it?
yeah.
It's like, repression.
We're not
yeah.
open, especially when it comes to daughters, like Salik mentioned, especially the dynamics with girls within our house and stuff. We're not. We're very awkward around critical conversations sometimes. Sometimes these conversations are vital, and we kind of shy away from it, and we pretend, like Kaim said, we pretend it never happened. It's all denial. So as a community, we need to get much better and much closer to that, because these days our children are exposed to so much. There's so much peer pressure. There's so much that can happen, and it only takes one incident, and they can go down the wrong path.
Do you think that will change? Like,
I think generationally,
But actually,
Yeah.
let me ask you that question in a different way, actually. Naz, and again, feel free to not answer the question, right? But you've got
no comment.
you know, you can say no comment. But you've got older kids, isn't it? Teenagers, isn't
Yeah,
it?
yeah,
You're and a teenage daughter as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so as a parent, obviously, you've had to deal with this. You've had to navigate this sort of minefield. So how have you approached it? Like, you know, you don't need to go into like detail, but like, what approach have you taken? Like, where have you got advice, support? What have you
Luckily, you know, the kids these days, like they have got a lot more education. Like, I'll give you an example. My daughter, I've got a video of her when she was 6 or 7. She's got dolls. And I don't know why she's got an American accent. It's all that YouTube stuff, isn't it? So she's playing with the dolls with an American accent, and she's saying, "Oh, this costume is much better. It's much more modest, and it's covering her arms and this, that, and the other." She's explaining modesty with her doll, and so innately they've got that natural like sensibility about them, like what our culture is. And what's right and what's wrong. As long as you instill that from the outset when they're 4 or 5 years old, by teenagers it's too late. You need to have the foundations way before then. And if you let them astray from the get-go, they'll only get worse and worse and worse.
But some of these topics, isn't it? Some of these topics, like.
She does talk, it does make me cringe, I'll be honest. She'll tell me.
But do you just tackle them head on? You think
I
that's
have
solid?
to. I have to. Like, she'll say to me in the car, "Oh, I don't want." She didn't want to do Young Enterprise because there's a couple there that are hypocritical. One's quite religious, and he's an imam and stuff like that, and he's there with his girlfriend.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So
Go for it, lad. Go for it.
That's integration, bro.
She's like,
that's integration.
Dad,
assimilation.
I can't
It's the
stand.
full whack.
I can't stand the hypocrisy every week of doing this Young Enterprise. These two are just using it just to meet up because in other settings they're not allowed to be together. So again, it's what you instill from the get go in terms of their values and things like that. So it was such a cringe conversation for me to have, but I had to have it. You can't not.
Yeah.
If you start deflecting from the conversation, it means that you're not open enough with your child.
Imagine that. Imagine in our generation, your parents talking to you about boyfriend. and girlfriend.
We couldn't. 100%. My dad would have
No
slapped me.
chance, bro.
He would have backslapped me. He would have kicked me out. He would have.
Haramzada.
Yeah, exactly. And my mum would have fly kicked me after that. So we just couldn't
So
have
you
that
think that
conversation.
openness? You think that
Yeah. So
openness will definitely
the
resonate?
fact that she can have that conversation says it all to me. That she's in a place where she's comfortable enough to tackle it because she wants to voice that. Do you know what I mean?
Here's a question I'm gonna. So, do you think there are actually some limitations where you know, in terms of talking to your children about certain subjects? Do you think that there are restrictions? There are some.
There
boundaries
shouldn't be,
that
but
there
yeah,
should
there
be
is.
kept?
There's
No,
nothing.
like meaning. So, not that I'm saying there is or there isn't. Should there be some
Should there be
between a
should there?
parent and a child?
I don't think they should. They should be. They should be feel free enough to talk to you about anything. But at the same time, do I want to have them conversations? Is a different. If it came
I got
to
a
certain
different. I
conversations,
got a different take on it.
Go on, Sam.
Thingy.
Go on.
You know what Prince has just said. I don't accept that at all.
Go on.
And it's not that Prince is wrong, it's just I have a different view on it. You know, when we say we should talk about everything, but we shouldn't talk about it's not even us who chooses that or decides that. I think the system, the society, education is opened it up to such a point where kids think, yeah, this is a normal thing to talk about. So right now, the school or the education system is deciding what is okay to talk about in public, and then kids just bring it home. And then at home, we have a different setup, yeah? So for example, let's say we're totally comfortable with us talking to our children about homosexuality, for example, yeah? And then your elder sister is in the house and your older brother, my older brother and older sister is in that same house. When my nephew, when my children are there, which is their nephews and nieces, my big brother could easily turn around and say, Kidamate be. Boytini nami boytam.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I mean?
do you want to smack him or do
Yeah,
do- do-
because our older brothers and sisters, they were different
yeah.
to us. So now when we turn around and say, oh, Baisab or Afa, it's all right, man, it's a lot for them to mate. They'll be like, what are you talking about? My kids wouldn't get away with talking like that. Why are you letting these? There's lots of differences.
So, Sally, do you think that's progression or regression? What do you think?
No, I don't think it's progression or regression. You're using words now that you learnt in school again.
Yeah, but that's where you learn these things.
No, you don't learn these things. You didn't
Where do you learn them?
Listen, you didn't learn your culture and your habits and your behavior in school. You learned that in the house.
Yeah, there is that, but that's not going to provide me with vocabulary, is it? I'm not going to learn
No, look, I was just going to swear then. Forget vocabulary. Vocabulary no matter
No, I get that.
Just
I know
because someone's using what we call a civilized word doesn't mean it's okay.
No. But it's still a valid question, do you not think? Is it progression or regression?
Look, you can still go into some homes in this day and age where children are educated to a very, very high level and some conversations will still not happen.
Yeah,
It just
there
doesn't
has to
happen.
be a balance, isn't it? There has to.
Look, I'll say it like this as well. Maybe sometimes we think we're a bit too modern. Sometimes we think, oh yeah, we're really 2026. It's okay to have those like it's okay for a daughter to have a conversation with her mum to say, Mum, that lad's great, good looking, that lad.
This is what
Oh,
I mean. But no,
love
you've
him.
got to
Allah, just
draw.
love
Sorry,
him.
you got to draw the line somewhere.
Do you know what I mean?
Also, that's what I'm
there
saying.
gets
Draw
to
the
a
line,
point.
Kida. Draw the
You
line.
draw the line
There's some
as
things
in-
you have to nip it in the bud.
Yeah,
man.
but then there's a level where it's disrespectful.
You listen. I'm telling you one thing, Prince. You got some days coming.
No.
Rainy days.
Look,
Some
at the end of the
cloudy
day,
ones.
it's down to each individual to parent the child how they want.
Absolutely.
But
And-
that's a different thing though. You're talking about, Salik. That's a different thing though, isn't it?
What's a different thing? Tell
Like
me one.
what you're talking about is a different thing. Like, for example, like as a parent,
Yeah.
like are you your child's friend or are you your child's parent, isn't
Mm-hmm.
it? Like you have this kind of adab khaida with your
And you know-
parents, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know what you're talking about now is new modern parenting techniques.
Well, adab khaida is not new parenting.
No, this whole idea of friend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You were never your dad's
I know,
friend.
and this is my
I was
point.
never my dad's
I know,
friend.
I
I was never my
I
uncle's
know.
friend. Now it's like your kids coming over saying, "Yo, what's going on, bro?"
Yeah, no, but
No, but that's taking it to the extreme. They wouldn't do that.
So-
They
so
wouldn't
no,
talk
but
to you
the-
like that.
I know, but this is my
There's
point.
levels in it. There's levels at the end
They
of the
would
day. They
come
know.
to you and say, "Yo, chill out, bro."
No, they wouldn't say that.
I know,
No,
so
there's
they
no
would-
way my child would
You know
say
what?
that.
I'm gonna say
100%.
something.
Would my child say that? You know my
son
children.
actually is, bro. He's said it once.
Yeah, but,
Yeah,
no,
it
It
but-
comes natural.
I know, but,
It's-
Salik, but this is my point, isn't it? That you don't have to be your child's friend. You can still be the child's parent and talk to them about these sensitive issues as a parent.
Yeah, of
From a
course.
position of respect, not from a position of we're equal in it. Let's talk about which
No,
one's
yeah,
right.
that's it.
It always
You've got to assert yourself in a specific way. Yeah, you've got to say you got to be specific in the way you handle things, and they know there's no go areas.
Okay,
A child should know.
You know these things. Where did you pick it up from so that you know how to deal with it? Where did you learn it so that you know how to deliver it?
Well, or you kind of make your own assertions and.
No, see, then that's wrong parenting.
No, how is it? You're
Where
not
did
just
you
going to
learn?
copy and
Okay,
paste.
so check
It's
this out.
not
Yeah?
just a copy and paste
Right,
job.
Huh?
Everybody has their own rights to.
No, I'm asking a very specific question. Where did you learn your parenting for you to deliver it?
There's no handbook on it.
I
No,
think
I didn't
what
ask
we
that
see-
question, bro.
Yeah.
I'm not
No,
asking
no.
that question.
From
Yeah,
various
I get what you're
Look,
saying.
I'll tell you, yeah.
What you see in
For
society
example,
and
for me,
TV and all
okay,
of that crap.
let me give you my example, yeah. I lost my father when I was 10. Some of the things that my son doesn't know or hasn't learned from me is only because I don't know it myself. I never experienced it. I never learned it. I never saw it. I never saw it in action, how my dad maybe disciplined my elder brother or one of my... I never learned it. I never saw it. So do you know what I'm doing? Making it up as I go along. And I'm more than likely, I'm going to get more things wrong than I'm going to get right.
Yeah.
So if you
But
learn it like that...
that's the part of progress, isn't it? It's about
No, that's not
bettering
progress.
yourself.
That's taking
Bettering yourself as a parent.
Look, you said yourself that if they get to teenage years, that's it. It's too late.
Yeah.
Where are you learning what you need to teach them by the time they're 6, 7? Where are you learning it? Where are you seeing it? When have you put yourself in an all Bangladeshi situation to say, this is how I should be teaching them to eat, sleep, walk, wear clothes, talk to elders, behave them? Where are you learning it from for you to then say, I know it, I'm going to go and deliver it to my kid?
But then is that right? Look, because there's so many
course it's
examples.
right.
There's so many examples of people suppressing their children or dictating how they should be or whatever, and then they rebel.
What's the answer to that question? I don't understand. What's the answer to that question?
I'm saying, look, there's so many things. I'm saying it from my perspective. There's so many things that I haven't learnt or I don't know, and I've never got the opportunity to learn it. So when my son comes to me, and if he's going to ask that question in 2026, but I'm born and brought up in the 80s and 90s, what do I say to that kid apart from my elders or uncles will say, my response may have been the same. This is not a conversation for the house. Son, shush. You don't bring this conversation to the house. We don't talk about these things in the house. And when we were younger, there was loads of conversation we didn't talk about in the house.
Yeah, of course.
That doesn't mean that they were parenting us wrong. They were showing us a different kind of discipline. They were showing us that there's a boundary, there's a border, there's a line that you don't cross. Just because you've been born and brought up in 2026 and they've taught you nice, pretty words to talk about something that's not supposed to be spoken about, doesn't mean that it's okay to go
And
and have
that's
a
going back to
conversation.
why I asked you that.
Society,
like-
do you not think society is different in 2026?
Yeah.
Of course it's
Society is
different, but
different,
it's society. But I'm talking about my home. My home is, I'm going to have to set some boundaries. I can't just say, oh, because it's okay within society, it's going to have to be okay in my home as well.
No,
I can't allow that.
No, I don't mean that. What I mean that, like, the kind of pressures and the situations
Yeah,
that,
Otto,
that children find themselves in is going to be different.
Otto, you know, this conversation that we're bringing now, the pressures, I accept it. But you know what that is? That's modern day parenting.
No,
Don't
that's
say
not
too.
to do with
Don't say
parenting.
too much, or don't talk about this because they're gonna get trauma. You're gonna
That's
scar
not-
them mentally.
No, Sasal, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that, like, the environment that kids are in.
Bro,
that
do you know what we need
parents
to do
have
with our
respond
kids?
to.
I'll tell you what I need to do with our kids, and I think Yogi might agree with me. Let's take them to Bangladesh and take them to a project called School Under the Sky.
Yeah, Yeah.
Let's take them
I
to
think
a...
we making a shell,
Yeah,
little
we're
bubble around them
not
and,
just shell, and
you know.
excuse my language, we really pussyfoot around these kind of things. If you go into some of the locations that we've been to, and I'm not saying that that's how kids will learn, but honestly, they're also living in 2026 as well. It's not that they're still in the poor days of Bangladesh.
So
but
what would they learn from that? What they won't learn here?
that education is actually a privilege.
Okay.
You're privileged to have this kind of education. You're privileged to have the culture that
the
protects you on the
clothes,
level.
the shoes, you know.
Not only that,
We
Yogi.
take
I'm
everything
talking
for-
more
everybody
about.
takes everything for
Yeah.
granted.
Look, I'm
It's just the way
talking
the
more
world-
about. I'm talking more about. When you go into some of those locations, you know, those young people, they really do give you, you know, hey, he's a father figure, he's an uncle figure. You have to give him that level of respect. You have to take his life experience strongly. Nowadays, you know, 9 times out of 10, I wouldn't say 9, I'd say 7 times out of 10, children do think they know better than you. And we also thought that we knew better than our elders, but you know what? We never said it. We just held it back because it's disrespectful to answer back in that way where we're telling them, I know better than you, dad. Shush, sit down, you don't know.
So then you think that you can't have, like, sensitive conversations with kids because if you have sensitive conversations with kids, that undermines your authority.
Yeah,
as a parent.
your
No,
assertion.
it doesn't.
I don't
I
think-
think
what's the-
the reason why we're not having those, I've not prepared myself to have that conversation yet. There's nobody in my community who's teaching. Do you know, look, I say this all the time. There's nobody coming out within our communities, guys, and teaching us, oh, parents, come here, sit down. We need to have a chat with you. You've got boys who are turning 14, 15, 16. How are you dealing with them? Did you know that drugs is more readily available? There's more natural highs that they can buy. Girls, did you know that your
So
girls...
then what's the answer then, Sally? They just don't talk about it.
No, nobody said that. Look, you know what you're doing? You never, Prince, with all due respect, you're not looking for the middle ground here, bro. You're jumping from one extreme to another.
How am I not? Like, well, if you're saying
what I'm saying to you is,
look,
look, I'm asking you, where did you learn? You know what you're saying? You're open to talk about with your kids. How are you going to challenge it? Because you as a parent, your job isn't just to listen. Your job is to challenge. That's your job as a parent. You challenge the narrative that they bring home. 5 times out of 10, they might agree with you and the narrative is fine. But more than likely, do you know, a child, when they come to talk to you at home, if it's not just standard normal conversation, they're actually testing the waters to see how far my parents are okay with this idea. I'm not asking you in particular, I'm asking, we as parents, where have we gone to prepare ourselves to answer those questions according to because look, about this podcast, it's all to do with our religious beliefs, it's all to do with our cultural values, and us being British Bangladeshis growing up in 2026. Because sooner or later, your child will walk in the house with a colleague or a friend who is totally against your way of life. But your child will be totally fine because that's my friend, Dad. Like or lumpy, that's my friend, Dad. And it's happening more and more and more. It's happening more and more and more and more.
But
so
then
now,
would you rather they're not exposed at all to people of a different ilk?
Salik's saying that. I think what Salik is saying is that we need, like when Salik says middle ground, I think what he's trying to say is that we need to approach these topics and
with a little bit.
So that people are taught, like parents are giving these skills. Because
so they know how to handle it at that
a very
point.
good example with himself, but I think we can all say that our parents didn't have these types of conversations.
No, 100%
with us.
we didn't.
So how do we know how to have those conversations?
we don't books, I think.
But have it in a way that is rooted from our culture,
Yes.
not rooted from an outside culture. So how is it as a Bengali and a Muslim you can talk about, let's say, homosexuality or LGBTQ issues
or drugs.
or other things?
Or I want to be gender fluid.
Yeah, whatever.
You know, or for example, we like I've got a daughter, we've got a daughter. What if they come home and say the clothes that I'm wearing is totally fine? It's a really difficult thing, isn't it? You know, look, us as dads, guys, let's be real, yeah? When your child is below the age of 12, 13, 14, you see them as a child. Once they get into 12, 13, 14, you see them as young women. You have to approach this differently.
You do.
We really have to approach it differently. We never saw how our dads would deal with that with our sisters, yeah? How are we learning to deal with this then?
So then I think the gauntlet is thrown out, the challenge is thrown out, particularly for the Burnley community, because I don't know about the wider Asian Muslim Bengali communities, but how is it that you can have these sort of sessions, parenting skills,
and how do you rebuttal them to say,
like
Salik says, if they think that's acceptable and we think it's unacceptable.
And it doesn't have to be rebuttals, but it can be a wider set of things, isn't it?
I'm not saying this in a bad way, but our children are being taught to stand by what they fundamentally believe in. So if they at home have never had that conversation or that topic has ever come up.
I think it goes further than that. I think our girls, the empowerment that they're trying to instill in them.
Yeah, they're actively targeted. Women, and Asian girls are actively targeted.
Asian girls specifically, exactly that. Like they're being demonized in terms of religion, culture, or that's somehow not letting them be who they want to be.
Well, Yoga, you've stayed quiet on this topic.
No, because I'm listening, because you guys are my elders, so obviously you've got more experience with this. But like you said,
you've got a daughter of your own.
I have. I was just gonna say. So obviously, I just came back from a holiday, and I realize now she's not a child anymore. Look, she, it's just a thing that came into my mind. Look, she's a young lady now, so things have got to change. And the reason why I asked you now, as Prince, about should some things be not talked about is kind of what Salik was saying actually about as well. It's because I don't know. I don't know. So how can I talk about something that or give guidance on something that I've not really had experience on?
I would say, just on that point, man, I would say that it's okay to say, as fathers, I would say it's okay to say that, look, I don't know and I'm struggling.
100%.
Exactly. Look, exactly that. This is it, guys.
And look,
whoever's watching, this is exactly what it is.
Okay, let me give you an example.
Hold on, Salik. The other day, I went with somebody to Keswick, and on the way back, it's a long journey, 2.5-hour drive. So we were talking about this. So I was saying to him, look, I'm going to open up a bit. So I was saying, look, sometimes I just wish my dad was there, so then I can kind of learn from him. That's all I want, just learn from him, because I see the other friends and their fathers, what, you know, the little things, even if it's just a,
they've got that
if
support
it-
mechanism there.
Yeah, even if it's just a one-liner, like, you know, if you hold tight together, nobody can break you.
That
But if you're
reinforcement.
like this,
Yeah.
you know that, because I heard this one of
Book
my.
4? Is that what book is that? That's a story. The story about the 4 sticks.
Yeah.
Do you know the
this-
story?
Yeah,
It's in the
yeah.
book, yeah.
So somebody,
Yeah,
dad told them that, and when I heard that, and I thought, look, these are the little lessons.
The
I
nuggets,
got-
yeah.
I'd love to know.
Yeah,
you know,
unfortunately we don't have
and
that.
I'm probably gonna tell my kids that. You
So
know,
Yogi,
because-
do you know what you're saying there? Do you know for them to receive that little story, it's a motivational, you know, that's a privilege.
yeah.
It really is.
That's
Well,
what
you
I
would know
mean.
that.
And you know
So
why
that's
I
what I
said-
mean. So that's what I was saying to him just before you carry on, Salik. So that's what I wish I had those little things. You know, I don't need everything else, but those little things, and that's how I feel like sometimes I felt like a bit left out, because you guys
can't
have
relate to
those
that, yeah.
little things, you know.
Like
Okay,
I
you're
said, it's a
100% right.
privilege.
You know, look, what you're saying, I felt that with my friends circle. I lost my parents at a young age as well. And you sometimes do sit there, and not from a jealous perspective, it's just you realize, wow, they got a support network.
Yeah.
They got you know, if they fall, there's somebody there that's not. Look, this is the way I used to think it. If they're about to fall, someone's going to stop them. But even if they do fall, there's somebody there to pick them up. What about me?
Yeah.
Do you
But
get what I
on
mean?
that note, Salik, I'm gonna quickly butt in again. Feel free to cut me off as well, guys. But that's also made me, now that I think about that as well, you know, the me falling, me picking myself back up.
Back up on your
That's
own.
what they didn't have.
Yeah.
So
They didn't have that
you
independence.
understand? It's like
I think what it's done for me is it's made me a more creative person, somebody with more
You're more resilient as
more
well, Sally.
resilient. And you know what? Look,
You're
a friend
the
of mine.
same. You're the same, man.
I'm gonna say this as well, guys, because it's really important. A friend of mine used to say to me, he goes, Sal, you know, you're a lot stronger, and I'll tell you why. I said, why? He goes, you've hit rock bottom that many times because you never had that support network. Yeah, you've hit rock bottom so many times that the only way for you was up. Us, we've never hit rock bottom yet. We're shit scared that day is gonna come, and how we're gonna deal with it.
It's very true. It's very true.
So yeah, that's what we're talking about. So that's why I mentioned as well. Maybe.
No, I like what Salik said about
Yeah.
the privilege, because
Yeah, it is.
you know, I'll be honest, not everybody's got that. You know, everybody's
Yeah.
not got that
Yeah.
support mechanism in place. So
And it
we need to
might
be-
feel like something small to whoever's got a father
But
and all
trust
that, but
me,
that's,
I
it's
can-
huge. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
These
you're
people-
getting-
I think
look.
the point is that other fathers out there and mothers as well, other parents out there that are struggling with these issues, you know, it's not like, don't think that, oh, you're a bad parent or you're old.
This is
or
it. This is it.
everybody's
And
in
another
that
thing
same
that
boat.
Salik said, you have to make it up as you go. If you haven't got that like blueprint there, let's say, what else are you going to do but make it up?
Here's
as you
another
go?
thing that I realized, you know, when I was a young father, when I was, you know, they were little babies.
Yogi, can I ask
I
you, how old were you when you became a father?
was about 24, 25.
That's very young, man.
Yeah,
What
2012.
are you talking about? I was 23 when I became a dad.
I was 26.
So you know, initially I used to think to myself, you know what, I'm going to teach my
you're
kids.
built different,
Yeah,
Sally.
like,
You're built
I'm going to show them this, and I'm going to train them this, and guide them towards that. Then slowly, as they were getting older, and they were asking me questions about, you know, random stuff, and you know, all of this. I'm thinking, bro, they're teaching me. If anything. I'm learning here. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
and I'm
from
still
your
learning.
kids, from your
Yeah,
kids.
you know, like
Yeah,
they'll say something, or they'll do something, and I have to now react, or I have to show them the positive way. And not all the time I knew already. You know what I mean? I didn't have that experience, so I'm having to learn, and you know, so yeah, they taught
You know,
me.
look,
So Sal, let me ask you then, Sal, actually, that's a bit mean of me, because although the way we see you as a very resilient person, very capable person, being a father at 23 is actually a big thing, man. How did you find it? How did you find it?
You know, look, I'll be honest with you, and my wife says this now as well, that our first one, you know, that was, he's 21. I've got a 21-year-old lad who's graduating this month, alhamdulillah. That first child for us, we were children ourselves when we think about it now.
100%.
Exactly.
We were children, like, you know, you really don't learn life until you're like in your mid-30s, 40s, you know. But we were kids then as well, but we kind of went through with it. And we just, look, my son's best friends at one point were my best friends. Like, my mates is who my children grew with. Did you know that most of my mates, when they were getting married, my son was at their wedding? My dad was at my friend's wedding as a kid who understood, who knew, and all of that. So now when he sees my mates, he's shaking hands and hugging them like they're his boys. Do you get what I mean? But so we kind of, I'd say that me and my elder son, we kind of grew up together, if you know what I mean by that. Do you know what I mean? But look, I'll tell you one thing. I've learned this, or I found this. the most profitable time that you can spend with your children is the 5 minutes when you drop them off to school and the 5 minutes that you pick them up.
Yeah, facts.
I've managed to get more information across to them in those 2 times than if I was to sit with them for 2-3 hours.
And it's raw information as well. It's that straight out of school, I want to tell you all this.
Yeah.
To our viewers and whatever, I think this parenting thing deserves a topic on its own.
Definitely.
Yeah,
I was just going to say, because we have been going on quite a bit now. So I think on that note, we'll bring it to an end. But guys, I think
We want some input from the
subject.
audience as well, don't we?
Definitely.
Tell us about your experiences. We know somebody your age who's got a daughter who's going to just in university, which is unbelievable. That's a conversation in itself. So we need input like that.
So tell us, without being too detailed.
Yeah,
tell us,
we don't need to name names or anything like that.
Tell us what you kind of going through, or
and just
what
the
your
struggles
fears
of
are, or
parenting,
struggles, things like that. We'll talk about it because I think it's a good subject.
Even
I think
things like-
parenting is the top subject. to have a
I want to delve into single parenting as well. Because you know that's relevant nowadays. It's quite common.
And then not only that, look, parenting. I know we want to
find
finish.
a guest for this one.
I think we do. I think that'll be really good.
Mm.
And I think, look, the other thing as well, I've got a 21-year-old, a 14-year-old, and a 10-year-old. Night and day differences. 3 different people. Totally different
I'll
people.
tell you what I want to learn. I know your third child is different in terms of how it is, but
Neurodivergent.
the transition from your parenting as a young parent with Dawood versus how it's been with your other 2, that must be night and day in terms of how you do it.
And for me, I'll be honest, I'll say this live on the podcast as well. For that particular conversation, I don't need to be in the room. You need to bring my, my son's mother.
I think we'll
100%.
bring
You know
it
what I
on.
mean? And then have that conversation and just it's totally different world.
Yeah, 100%.
You know what I mean? Totally different
Guys,
world.
that's something to look forward to.
Yeah,
Definitely want to tune in for 100%.
And I think maybe we'll bring a young person on. If you're brave enough, guys, and you're a young person, why don't you come on as well and maybe teach us about what it's like to be living in 2020.
You guys with your £10 toothpaste.
100%.
Let's see you on camera.
Yeah. And don't
And listen,
gatekeep that toothpaste. It's for the family. So guys, thank you very much for joining us on this episode.
Thank you, guys.
Inshallah, we'll see you on the next one.
Guys.
Allah
Assalamu
Hafiz.
alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.